Hey everyone, this is Scott from Scrap to Girl Podcast. Welcome to another edition of ReWatching The Flash Season 4. Today I'm going to be talking about Episode 14, Subject 9. So I just finished rewatching this episode. It's been a couple weeks since I've watched an episode of Season 4 because Season 5 recently premiered. But yeah, I did get to watching Episode 14, Subject 9 of Season 4. And this episode to me was a little bit slow. It was a little bit not one of my favorite episodes this season. This was the one that introduced the music meta from the bus, one who plays the thing, the music comes out of it, and that part was fine. That was a cool kind of new power to look into. Is kind of, I'm not a big country fan, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, this episode kind of revolved around her, them trying to train her to kind of fight DeVoe, which I felt was kind of a weird thing, but I also thought that that's what they were going for in this episode, with Barry kind of pushing this new random meta who they just met to try and fight DeVoe. And it's like, you see how desperate Barry's getting to at this point in this season. Halfway into the season, he's got no clue how to beat the bad guy. So that part of it was kind of interesting, but it was also kind of weird at the same time, because you're not used to seeing that side from Barry Allen. Normally he thinks these things a little bit more ahead. He doesn't want to force anybody to be a hero, doesn't want to be, but this time it seems a little bit more like he's like, oh no, you hurt DeVoe, you got to be the one to do it. And it's really kind of interesting the way they played that and made him kind of show how desperate he is without, him being like, I'm desperate, So that was kind of an interesting part of this episode. I also like that we get Cecile and Harry working together in this one, because Cecile is now hearing can hear Joe's dreams in her thought when she's trying to sleep. So she's seeing his dreams, and so her and Harry work together to create a thing to block it. But I just really enjoyed their interaction, because she doesn't take his shit and he's just like, I'm sorry, because he's not trying to be a shit, he just is a shit. So I just really love the way the dynamic between those two, and it's just kind of was fun. So I like that starts off in this episode and kind of keeps going forward throughout the season. What else did I like about this episode? Barry pushing more. Oh, and the city wasn't 100% behind Barry. We see at the beginning of this episode, this is one of the first episodes since his name was kind of cleared, with them using Ralph to morph into DeVoe to be like, oh, I'm alive. So that's kind of why the city's still a little, because I'm not 100% sure, because this is Central City. Weird shit happens all the time. So I like that little hiccup they add into it, / a way of keeping Barry from having to come up with excuses why he doesn't go to work. Because some of these episodes, I'm just like, how do you have a job still? Like, well, I get you're still kind of investigating it, but it's still kind of like, Captain Singh is freaking forgiving. And so this kind of was a good reason for the rest of this season, at least, why he's not at every crime scene, and why it's more focused on DeVoe and the bus meta as opposed to the monsters of the week, even though it still ends up being that way because of how many bus metas there are. But yeah, that's all I got about this episode. This didn't, like I said, there wasn't a whole lot that connected this in particular episode to the rest of the season, besides there being just a bus meta. It felt like kind of just a bus stop along the meta route, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's all I have for this episode. What did you guys think of episode 14 of season 4 of The Flash? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for joining me today, and have a good one.